All right, guys. So today is Tuesday, September 30th. It is slightly over 12 p.m. EST. And we always want to check our news just to see if there's anything, any high impact news that can affect our trading. And I noticed that we have everything looks pretty much typical every week. We have US President Trump speaking at 11, which was just about an hour ago. I need to see exactly what he was speaking on and to see if it had affected any of the stocks right now. But looking for the week, everything looks pretty normal. What I'm typically looking for is anything that can affect specific companies that I'm trading. But everything looks pretty normal. Only thing that really typically affects it is initial jobless claim, which happens every week, every Thursday, but it doesn't do much at all. So nothing that I am scared of. And if you're swing trading or day trading, or if you're scalping, this is something that we want to keep an eye on. Okay, the initial jobless claim. But if you're swing trading at dominant levels, like some of the levels that we're going to be going over, this should be completely okay. All right. So that being said, we're going to look at Coinbase. And Coinbase, overall, we got this initial move, I want to say last month or two from this level. This was a B swing supply level. So back in April 2021, all the way here to July of 2025. So it was at the end of July when we initially got in. And we didn't trade it for too long because it's a little bit more riskier to trade selling B swings than buying for large companies. However, this gap here shows that we were going to have some sort of drop anyways. So I'm just going to put a supply here just as a reminder. So now that I understand that and I'm seeing price action, we're currently in a downtrend. So one, this was our first indication that we may be in a downtrend. As price moves, now this is our confirmation we're in a downtrend. So I'm going to focus just on this area here now. And now I'm going to go to the daily time frame, drill down a bit because I want to see a little bit, I want to see price action a little bit more, right? So that being said, we have our highs here at the top. We know that this is a B swing, a huge high where there was imbalance between buyers and sellers from 2021 to July 2025. Strong move to the downside. And it looks like the earnings report may have had something to do with it. And then we stopped here. So this is where I'm going to draw my initial channel here. So from here to here, because I'm trying to connect my lows and I'm trying to connect my highs. This is the pack strategy here. Now that I've connected my highs and my lows with the same exact angle, now what I'm going to do is predict the next movement because I'm in a downtrend. So it's a lot less riskier to sell than to buy at this point now that we've recognized we're in a downtrend. So we've trapped price horizontally because we noticed that there is consolidation on the daily as well. So this helps us to identify the next move as well. So we trap price vertically with the trend lines and we trap price horizontally with this consolidation. And sometimes in the pack strategy, you're not going to see consolidation this long, right? You're going to typically have price do something like this, a drop, and then it may go up and do something like this, a drop, go up, and it bounce off the walls like that. But there are times where we have consolidation and it will hit this top wall, and then that's when we'll sell here. All right. So that being said, this is pretty set up. I think this is pretty good for a sale right now. I'm also noticing these wicks here at the top, which gives me an indication that price could go a little bit higher above our current zone. If so, we're completely fine as long as we're aware and we don't put all of our eggs in one basket. Okay. Especially if you're trading options. I think price is currently at 331. If you're trading options, the price should be cheaper as well. And then there's also ways that you can trade this when it's cheaper as well. And I'll go into that in Discord later. But price is rejecting off of this resistance level. So I have one here back in September 23rd, here September 16th, here August 11th, here August 1st. And then we have some wicks a couple times higher than this level. Okay. So this is where I would currently sell now. It's up to you if you want to take it to the support level. Now it's a little more riskier and it's going to take more time to get to the support level. So I always say to try to get to, if we find a consolidation horizontally, take it to the middle. It's just a little safer. So around like 314. Now, if you want to hold multiple shares and pay yourself halfway and then hold a few runners to the downside to support, you can do that as well. As long as you pay yourself somewhere halfway. Okay. So that's what I'm doing now. Entered this Coinbase and I'm taking it. And I haven't put a TP yet, but I'd say around 312. So I'm going to put an alert here just to remind myself. Coin TP from sale. And whatever message you want so that when it hits, you know that your TP, your take profit was hit. So beautiful quick trade. It may take a couple days, maybe sometime next week. There could be volatility and it can happen today or tomorrow. So sometimes it's hard to tell when the TP is going to hit. Like Chipotle, for example, it takes a while but as long as you feel like you're in the best level and all your rules are met for your strategy, then no need to worry. All right, that is Coinbase. Next one is Costco. Let me know, guys. Stop me if you have any questions. All right, Costco Corporation. So every single time when I'm entering a trade, I'm not thinking about the price action channel strategy. I'm not thinking about B swing. All I'm doing is I do the same setup every single time. I go to the higher time frame and I look for patterns. And when I say patterns, I'm looking for the highs and the peaks. So for example, I'm on the daily now. Let me just clean up my chart. I'm just going to clean up everything really quickly here. Okay. So when I'm first looking at my chart, I don't know what to make of it, right? Sometimes I may go to the chart and it looks something like this. So that's why I like to squinch my chart up, pull it down, and I want to make more sense of it. So now what I'm looking at, I'm looking for peaks, I'm looking for bottoms, I'm looking for trends. And when you start to see that and then you draw it out, then your analysis will make more sense. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so price is currently right here. What I do see is a peak here. This is our supply level, but there's no need to mark this. Like I can care less of this right now because it's nowhere near prices. Okay. So I want to give you the why behind the what of why I mark up the way I do. Okay. I see prices here. It's closer to this bottom here. So remember pivots, I call them pivots. You can call them whatever you want, but pivots are the key oftentimes to where you should be wanting to enter in the future. So here's a pivot here. And when I say pivots, usually if prices buy a pivot where there was a huge trend reversal like this here, that catches my eye. Okay, so this was a huge trend reversal. So if I were to just draw a straight line across, I notice that price is currently by this pivot here. And if I can spot multiple pivots at the same zone, this gives me extra confirmation. So here's one here. I see a huge pivot here and here. So remember a pivot, especially when they're trend reversals or huge upside movement or downside movement, depending on which way you're trading. So here's one here. So I'm just going to circle it and I'm taking it really slow, guys, so that this makes sense. So maybe you can start applying this to your next analysis. And then here, slightly lower than here, but it's completely okay. All right. So now I'm just training my eye to see what it needs to see. And I'm fixing this up. And then another thing that I see here are more. I see another pivot here. And then when I start to see these here multiple times, it starts to excite me. So I'm like, okay, this for sure is a reversal area here. So it wouldn't hurt for me just to draw a line here and connect the dots and do something like this and draw it all the way across. So I'm only focused on where price is currently at amongst where my previous pivots are. And this is why I draw my red rectangle wide, because I want to get this area here at the top of my rectangle, and I want to get as low as here at the bottom of my rectangle here from previous price action. So I know that pivot in the future, when it comes down, let's say price comes down here, it can come anywhere from the top to the bottom or even the middle. And I'm completely fine with that reversal. Here's a pivot here. Here's another one here. So here's another level where price is currently at here. So the thing is, if you were to buy based on this pivot right here and this pivot here and these here, just know you run the risk of price dropping even further to track these here. So it's up to you. And this is where, as a swing trader, it may be idea for you to get in now with maybe one or two positions, knowing that price could drop even further to these pivots here. So all I'm saying is that these pivots here are dominant. So this here, it wasn't a trend reversal, but it stopped on a dime, shot up, stopped on a dime, shot up, stopped on a dime. Then finally, there was a trend reversal here, or trend continuation in this case, where there was huge upside movements. Here, it stopped on a dime, huge upside movement. Same here. So I believe I wouldn't get in now if you're if you're a day trader, or if you didn't have much to play with your account. I will wait to get in at the lower zones here around 878 to as low as 865. And that's more promising. The only thing is you run the risk of price just shooting up and you never get in. So we never want to have FOMO or fear of missing out. You just missed the trade. There's a lot of other trades we get in. As a swing trader, you can afford to get in here and even lower with a decent sized loss, and then knowing that you're going to hold for a while anyway, and then end up making that back. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. But as of right now, if you're a swing trader, if you have enough in your account, you can run the risk, maybe get in with one or two shares now, If not, and you want to be less riskier, I would say get in around the middle, the top or the middle of this level here. So guys, if you can, I would like for you guys to mark this up just so you can show me that you understand where these pivots are on your chart without me giving you a price, if that makes sense, if you can kind of do that homework. And if you miss this, and let's say you're working, Cassandra, I know you say you're working and you can't see it. If you want to watch the replay later on or tomorrow, whenever you have some time, just look for these pivots that I showed you, fix your chart up the way you can, and identify these pivots and draw your rectangle like this, and then give me the highest level you'll get in and the lowest level you'll get in. The highest price you'll get in, the lowest price you'll get in based on that. All right, so that is Costco. I'm going to set some alerts really quickly without you seeing the price. Hopefully you didn't see the price. All right, but Costco is definitely setting up some time soon. I will wait for a slightly deeper discount just to be on the safe side. Last one I have, guys, is Nike, unless there's something else you want me to take a look at. There are some other trades that we're in now. All right, so Nike, remember, always looking for the bigger picture. Notice how when I first started, it looked something like this. So I'm going to delete it. You always want to make sure your chart makes sense. So, Cassandra, just to kind of meet some of the things you were saying, you were looking for like triangles and continuations and things like that, and that's completely fine. But whenever you have stick with a strategy, I kind of say this in the academy throughout. Just find a strategy. One of the strategies we use, it takes the guessing game out of it. You can develop your own strategy if you want, or if you have another strategy from somewhere else, but I can only speak on what I know and my strategies. If you have strategies and rules, it'll take the guessing work out of all the other noise, right? You don't have to worry about fibs or anything else or certain patterns. Just look for peaks, bottoms, trends, and then like pivots, for example. So I'm squinching my chart up because I want to look at the bigger picture. Sometimes you may want to squinch your chart up or just go to the higher time frame. Either one, they're doing the same purpose. So now that I see that, and I wanted to delete this as well, same situation as we did last chart with the Costco chart. Where are my bottoms? Where are my peaks? I don't have to worry about this because price is nowhere near it. I'm looking for where price is currently at, where I can get in, and where's the next opportunity. Here's current price. I'm looking at the last bottom, and what I'm looking at here, I'm going to just draw a line here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because this before was a huge reversal zone. So remember, as I said before, you may have small pivots. Let's zoom in. You may have a pivot here and it shoots to the upside, not quite trend reversals, although they are because this is the weekly time frame. But it may look small, right? So, but the thing is what's attracting me is that they pivoted all within the same zone. So that tells me in the future, when it comes back down there, we may see the same thing, which exactly, it did the exact thing right here. This is where we would have bought at in April 2025, and I think we did. So what's attracted me here is these pivots 3 times, and the third time it just was a huge trend reversal, right? And it continued higher, higher, higher for months and months. So the reason why I'm marking that is because this is a pivot here in the past, and we had a trend reversal before, which leads me to believe we may be in a possible trend reversal now to the upside. We've already made higher highs and higher lows, and this is what it is here. Let me get the tool. So here's our low, high, higher low, higher high, and after a higher high, there's a higher low typically. And I'm looking left right here where there was a pivot where we could see a rejection. So this is why I was saying I would buy here because we already had a discount. This was the last rejection, and the past told me that we were in an uptrend before. So it seems a little safer to buy because of this trend reversal area, which is why we call it demand. So demand is different than support. Demand is usually where you'll see trend reversals at larger levels on the weekly time frame or daily. Support is when you're going to still buy too, but support is usually in the trend. So here's my uptrend, but support is here, you buy. Support is here, you buy. So this is where we're looking to buy here. Demand acts like support where you buy, except they're usually trend reversal levels. All right, so I'm looking to buy here. Now tomorrow, no, actually today after, it's today, right? So today after the session, New York session, Nike should have their earnings report. Yep, so today. And it's going to happen after the New York session. So I'm hoping that price, they will have a good earnings report. I've kind of done some research. It seems like they'll have a good earnings report. And then that when we wake up, there should be a gap to the upside. because usually after earnings, you'll see a gap either to the upside or to the downside. So I'm hoping that it's to the upside, one, because we're at a key level, two, we're at a trend reversal, and three, we're at a discount. So that's my confirmation for the buy. Let's go to the daily, and you'll see it clearly now, a little bit more clearly. So here's our uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low. And I'm assuming I'm going to buy here, assuming that it's going to go up because the previous lower low in our downtrend becomes our future higher low in our uptrend. So I think that all we need is the earnings after today to help spike our continuation of our uptrend. That is Nike. Just got to be patient, guys. So that's Nike. And you said KR. What is KR? I know I've done that before. Can we look at, yeah, so we'll look at that too. So let's look at KR. What is KR? Is that Kroger? Oh yeah, okay. I thought I had that on my watch list, but I guess I don't. Okay. Or I must have had it on there before and deleted it. Okay, so let's look at Kroger. Just gonna put it in my list alphabetically. All right, so our previous price action, so you can see I already had my levels here before when we looked at it prior. I had my support level, and it looks like it went just below it here, and it shot up. And it continued right here, right? So these aren't coincidences. So I can use my same levels, find where price is at, drop it over. It went slightly below, just like here. So now here's my new support level. And all I'm doing is just looking at the past, my previous markups, 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm going to do, let me go to the weekly time frame because I just want to see structure really quick. Okay, so we're still in an uptrend, so nice. Bouncing off this support. So let me go back to the daily. I already missed the initial move. I hate when we already missed the initial move because we may come back and come back down. I hate to chase trades. If you're a swing trader, it's still a little bit okay, but I like to get in at the best level here. So we already shot from $64.50 to 66. So if you get in now, you run the risk of price pulling back for a double bottom. But I do believe looking at the structure here, Kroger still seems to be strong. I haven't done research recently, Cassandra. Oh, you probably did. Maybe I just missed it or forgot about it, Cassandra, but price should be coming back temporarily, at least to this zone here. And this is all just previous price action that I did prior. And this is like a huge, pretty much a huge consolidation level. So all you have to do is look for bottoms. Again, it gets simple when you start looking at bottoms and pivots. Here's a pivot, and when you see a huge trend reversal at a pivot, 9 times out of 10 is going to do the same thing in the future. Again, here, March, huge pivot, trend reversal. Again, April, June, huge pivot, trend reversal. Here we are again in September, huge pivot. We should have a trend reversal to the top, to the upside. Oftentimes, people can't hold for too long. It just plays on their mental. But this is why Kenya and I, we came up with fractional share sizing or fractional lot sizing for Forex. When you enter a certain amount of entries here, because we know that these are trend reversals, prices already oversold, enter, let's say 10, for example. Once you get to a certain level, pay yourself, take 2 of them out and pay yourself. Once it gets here, maybe take 3 of them out. Now you're holding 5. So you've already paid yourself. As price pulls down, you're still in a profit, but it may take some time to get to this level here. And it gets a little bit more riskier too, the longer you hold it. But you can see how you're paying yourself on just one stock as you're looking at other shares too, like Costco or Coinbase we just looked at. And that's why I like swing trading because you get to hold trades, get in at the best levels, and you have multiple profits on your list, on your broker account, um, and you feel more confident. Like Misty, for example, that was one rare thing. I typically don't trade ETFs like that. That's something that Pam brought to us, but it seemed very predictable. I just end up getting out because it just continued to drop. But usually companies like this are usually more predictable. So from here, we should continue to go up higher. Just know if you get in now, you may run the risk of it consolidating a bit, negative, may come back down, or it may continue to go up. But that's just the risk you're going to have to take. But good one, Cassandra. Thank you. I'm going to put an alert here at the bottom just in case it does a double bottom. So I'm going to do it around $64 and some change. So possible buy. And their earnings was on the September the 11th, but it's grayed out. So I need to figure out why didn't it happen. All right, and then Ronnie, you said Mara. I'm not familiar with that one. So Mara Holdings. Does that have something to do with like real estate or investment? Mining, Bitcoin? Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, guys. So this is also not only live trading, but coaching as well. So what would you do? Just looking at this here, what's the very first thing, if you can recall, what I would do when looking at a brand new chart or a chart I have no clue, besides doing the research first. Like the necessary research on a company is absolute key first before anything. So after that, what's the next thing I would do? Tanisha, higher time frame. Okay. Ronnie, look at the time frame, and Cassandra, weekly time frame. Look at peaks, bottoms, and trends. Yes, yes. So Cassandra, so all of you guys are correct. Cassandra was a little bit more thorough. So remember, when I'm looking at something, I don't know the structure yet. All I see is, it just looks weird. It's not clear, and it may be weird, but I need to be sure. So I'm going to start on a higher time frame. It could be the daily or the weekly, whatever it looks, whatever it makes sense, right? So the daily, I can scrunch it up like this and do something like this. I'm just trying to make sense of it. Or I can just go to the weekly without scrunching it up, right? Or whatever I see. One thing I'm keeping my eye out on is where price is currently at and what happened in the past. I like to look at bottoms, at reversal or pivots is what I like to call them, refer them to. I see that this is a high, this area, this is a supplies up level in the past. I'm looking at this. This is kind of irrelevant now, but it is relevant to the point that where price is currently at, I know that in the past it shot this high. But it's good to know why it shot that high. Like if has something to do with Bitcoin mining in 2021, that was pretty huge then. So this is why we probably had this huge spike. But for now, I want to trap price as much as possible. So I'm going to kind of scroll up here. And what I'm looking at, it can be an uptrend, but it's not a solid uptrend. Like I see a low, high, higher low, higher high, and then this higher low isn't really quite a higher low. Well, it is a higher low, but then right here is the structure isn't that good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of draw this trend line, connect my bottoms to here. So price is respecting our uptrend. In between here, it just looks a little weird. And I do see that price has been here recently, meaning like last year. So we could get back up to here. And it's been pretty consistent around this level here. So overall, price may get back to this level here. And also based on that, I know that this is mining, Bitcoin mining, this could still be good because Bitcoin mining is definitely still in effect. So now that I see that we're in an uptrend structure, I don't see much of a structure here on the weekly. So I'm going to try to find more structure on the daily. So let's scroll down. So now that I know that I'm in an uptrend, it's probably safer to buy than to sell. So now I'm looking for more of a support level to buy from than selling because we've already hit a low and we have more price action above than we have below. So I would look to buy off of this structure here, and where price is currently at, it looks more overbought than anything. So I would need to have that discount. So remember, I'm looking for peaks and I want to see pivots that are more consistent. So as I scroll over here, now this is what I'm looking at. So this seems more consistent. Now I'm just looking for support and resistance zones. Remember, support and resistance zones are more within the trend. So multiple peaks here, and usually those peaks will become support. So this is an area where I would definitely look to buy. This is more of a support. I'm not really worried about this here because I don't think price would get to that level. It will get to this level before this one. So I will wait for price to pull back here before I get in. This is around $16.45. Let's go down to, let's say, the 1 hour and look for other zones. All right, so this is like a temporary, this is a resistance level here, and this is why I wouldn't buy now. So price could go a little bit higher before there's a rejection. Eventually, I think we're going to continue to break out, but it's hard to tell now. We may come back and resist and come back down. So that's why I never try to buy when price is so high. I'd rather it come down to my support level here at 1645 before I look to buy. So the price action here isn't quite the best. This is more reliable looking here where I circled. at 1645 for a possible buy. So I'm going to hit an alert here just to be safe and follow this with you, Ronnie, if you want to. So I'm going to put Mara at support, possible buy, and put that in my messaging as well. And then what I'm going to do is actually change that alert. I have it at 1647. And I want to do it around 1656. So around there, because I want to get alerted just prior to it hitting the 1645 zone. So we have time to get in if we want to. So I did a top-down analysis. So this one isn't the best looking structure, but it's still structure. So I looked for my trend. I went to the higher time frame. I found a decent support level. So I'm going to draw the support level so you can see it here. I can even draw it across. And you'll see multiple rejections here. This is a safe buy zone here. And then multiple right here. If I scroll in, you'll see it a little bit more. So a nice clean chart. All right, and let's go ahead and just drill to the 4-hour. Let me throw on a Bollinger Band. My Bollinger Band takes time sometimes. I don't know why. There it goes. Okay, so I have the top Bollinger Band. Here's my resistance. This is before I even threw on a band at the resistance. The middle is here, and then the bottom is slightly below, is at 1594. So slightly below where I marked my support. But if we're continuing to make higher highs, this should head up before it dropped. So it may not even drop to this level, but if it does, this is where I will look to buy. It may continue to break out higher to this level, this zone here. All right, we'll do a follow. I had bought this at a cheaper price before joining BK Stocks. Okay, nice. Are you still in it, Ronnie? Or you just bought it at a cheaper price and sold it? And in the meantime, guys, is there anything else you want me to take a look at? Hopefully this all made sense. If not, just pick my brain, ask me questions. And if you can't think of any questions now, just let me know later in Discord. You sold it? Okay. And it's pretty cheap too. It would have been nice to get in all the way at this bottom here too. Yeah, I had no clue about Mara Holdings. So I'll keep it on my watch list and then we'll keep an eye on it together. So if you get an alert first or if you have any questions, Ronnie, just let me know. But guys, if that's it, if there's no questions, no other companies or ETFs or anything else you want me to analyze, then we'll definitely keep the conversation going in Discord. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Ronnie. I really appreciate it. So the whole thing, guys, if you didn't get anything else from this, is just to find a strategy to pick from, understand the rules, and then get in with no stress. As long as your rules are met and you understand those rules, just get in. That helps you build your trading psychology and your confidence. Because if you have a strategy and you know it works and you understand those rules, you don't have to look for anything else. Just get in. As long as you are pretty savvy on the news and what's going on with the news, because the news can completely alter your analysis. As long as you're savvy on your news and you mark up the way you should based on your strategy, you don't have to worry about finding anything else. Everything else is just a line. And if you need help, guys, with the B swing, the packs, the kits we don't really use as much, but if you need help with that, just let me know. With any chart, just let me know, and I'm happy to help you out. All right. Thank you guys so much for attending. I'm going to drop this recording in the recorded session room as soon as this is done, and I will see you in Discord. You guys have a blessed day, okay?